Welcome everyone to this video. I'm going to give you a really good introduction of what vector databases are, what vectors are, what vector embeddings are, so that way you have a good solid foundation before you move on to the next steps. And obviously in the next few videos I'll go into more depth, but this will be a quick introduction to give you these terminologies, so that way as you're exploring the next few videos or the next few sections, you have a good understanding of what these things are and how they work. All right, so when you think of data, let's say, for example, let's imagine the files on your computer, right? They are, videos, pictures, documents, audio files. They're not structured, meaning that they can't be easily stored in a tabular format, right? So majority of the files or majority of the data in today's world is unstructured data. I think it's about roughly 80% of the data in today's world is unstructured, meaning it's very difficult for us to represent these different types of data into a numerical format that the computers would understand. And that's where the vector databases come in, right? So whenever you upload a file, regardless of what the file type is, so it could be picture, videos, documents, using computer models, vector databases convert those different files into a numerical representation. And that's what it's referred to as vectors. So when you hear the word vector, just imagine that it's a way that the computer understands or represents these different types of data. So that way, whenever a user is searching for that particular thing, it can easily retrieve that. And these vectors not only represent a different aspect of this data, but it also tries to capture the meaning behind it. And that's where the huge difference is here. And again, we're going to explore this further. I'm going to show you guys a demo of exactly what this looks like. But for now, again, just for wording wise, whenever you hear vector or vector embeddings, just understand that that's a numerical representation of a data that these machine learning models have stored in the vector database. In the next couple of videos, I'm going to go through all of this in details, because we're going to walk through the example of this photo recommendation process, so that way you get a good understanding of it. And then I'm also going to do a live demo, so you'll have access to this document here, so that way you can go through this on your own time. But let's take a look at another example of how data is stored in vector databases. So this is a great guide that Weaviate put together. I'll put the link in the description. Make sure you check it out. It's fantastic. It's a bit more technical, but this gives you a really good understanding of what those are. But just quickly here, let's say a user is searching for the word kitten, right? So if the query is kitten, a vector database is not going to look, for example, on this side where the word banana and apple are stored, right? Because these are fruits and they have nothing in common when it comes to the word kitten. It's gonna look for in the area, it's gonna search in the area where it has similarity, meaning a cat and a dog and a wolf, they have a lot of similarity with the word kitten, right? Because they're both animals, they're all pets. So that's why it's gonna look and retrieve the information in this section, because whenever the word dog or the wolf or cat was entered into vector database, that vector database converted that word into a numerical representation and therefore stored it in the family of animals and closely next to each other if they were domestic pets. So that's why it's going to look in this area to retrieve that information and provide that back to the user. That's why it's a lot quicker, it's a lot more efficient compared to a normal database. So that's a good little overview of what that image of this multi-dimensional vector database looks like. So in the next video, we're going to take a look at the live demo of how these vector searches work, so you have a better understanding of how databases function.